What's going on, you guys? I'm back again for Greenleaf season 1, episode 5. All right. This was cute. Okay, it really wasn't much drama, but I love the fact that they, the way this show is going, is not boom, boom, bam. I'm gonna hit you with something each episode, each episode, each episode. It's like a roller coaster. It's easing us into something that's really big that's gonna happen, and I love the pace of it. It's giving us not so much, but just enough. And one more thing that I like about this show so far, this is episode 5, and they did kind of promote it and say like Oprah was in it and all that stuff. But I am so glad that just because this is Oprah's film company that's producing this, and she do have a part in it, that she's not heavily in every episode, and they're not making it about her or putting emphasis on her being on here. And even with her character not there, the show keeps going and all that stuff. I love it. I love it. And the writing is everything. But she gonna tweet out and say, "Y'all like episode 5? Wait till episode 7 come up." Bit don't tease us like that. Don't tease us like that. But this episode basically, last week, little Sophia found some stuff in Faith's old room of recordings of her you know, sermons and stuff, talking to the little sunshine kids or whatever. I don't know what y'all call them, but the little kids in Bible study or whatever, Bible school, Sunday school, I guess. And she was listening to it, and Grace was trying to wake her up, and she's listening to it herself, and little Sophia telling her where she got it from out of Faith's room, and she was like, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And she said, "I didn't want to upset you because you actually started feeling and seeming like you wanted to stay and was settling in." So basically, with that whole little thing, she was listening to the recordings, and she was getting nostalgic and in her feelings about it because that's her sister's voice and she misses her and all of that. Um, Along with the faith, not the faith, but the Grace storyline, there was this couple. Their son is in the hospital. The son don't look no more than 5, 6 years old, and basically he's been in and out the hospital for a while. He was born prematurely, and he was born with some of his organs, messed up. And one of his intestines basically was dying. Half of it was dying, and you need to hurry up and get that out before the rest die. And if that happens, he's gonna die and all this stuff. What wind up happening, and and I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, oh my God, I know what that is because I was looking at autopsy. I don't know if y'all look at it on the Reels channel, but they do like different celebrities and stuff like that who passed away and try to go through their autopsy um, about their deaths and stuff. And they did it on one of the members from the BGs who passed away. He was, fine, and then all of a sudden he had some stomach pain, and then they get him stabilized in the hospital, and they say, he dies. Why? Because he was born with the same condition that the little boy was born with, messed up intestine or whatever that was rotting away, that was dying off. And come to find out, one of the other brothers had it too, but they figured that out and they fixed it before he died from it too. So I was like, oh my God, I know what they're talking about. When you, I'm just like, bitch, I know. I got kind of happy, like, oh my God, this is fucked up, but I know what they're talking about. But anyway, the wife, they called Grace early in the morning to come down to talk to him and I guess pray and give hope and all this stuff. And you could tell that the wife is full of hope. The wife just wants her son to, get better and get through this surgery that he's about to have. The husband, on the other hand, he's very like, he's over it. He's kind of angry, and it's understandable because he was like, well, all the pastor, the bishop gonna say is, God got plans for him. He's in God's hand and all this stuff. And he said it in a condescending way. So, he had a conversation with Grace and was telling him the history about the son and how for the last year, even when they went and talked to the bishop, this is what he told them, leave it in God's hand. God's got a plan for him and all this stuff. And if this way it's supposed to be, this way it's supposed to be. And then he said for the past year, he has been in and out the hospital, poked, prodded, and all this stuff. And I was like, I understand his issue because he said when they was pregnant, they were advised on the different things that was going to be going on with the child, and basically he was against, you know, the wife going ahead and having the baby. But for the simple fact that they've been trying so hard and so long to have this baby, he knew that his wife was not going to just let the pregnancy go and try again, or, just forget about it. And so it was a sacrifice. He was like, I'm going to get this to her. And this is what happened. And so later on, they do the surgery, and um what else happened? Bishop comes up there because they call him up there, they call her up there, and basically they was talking. And before they get to the room, well, no, they get to the room and the baby is not there. Mind you, he just had the surgery, and they was like, where is he? They went back to pre-op. Something else went wrong. And so Grace was like, Dad, when you go up here, please do not give them hope like that. Just pray for them, but don't give them hope. Don't give them all of that shit. Don't give them no falsities or nothing like that. And he was like, I can't promise you what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say what God tell me to say. And I get where Grace is coming from, because she understands and she sees, you know, that basically the wife is dependent on the words of the bishop, and she wants this hope, but she's not trying to be realistic about the situation. So when they get up there to where, he was about to have surgery, and they about to pray for the child, he didn't even have nothing to say. And then next thing you know, the wife just breaks down and she's like, I just want to let him go. He needs to be at peace. He don't need to be going through this and all this stuff. I just felt so bad, because I've always thought about that. Like, you have to be a strong person to take care of a child who is in and out the hospital, a child who has a mental illness. And I just, oh my God, my heart goes out to those who do that. And y'all the strongest people to me, because, to see that each and every day, I'd be crying every day. I'd be crying. I don't want to see my, I'm like, I don't want to see my child go through this. That'd be me. I'd be on the floor, just bawling, okay? Because I'd be one like, oh my God, take this away from him or her. Why they gotta go through this? And and so she was just reaching her breaking point. And then in the car, the bishop, Grace was like, thank you for not saying nothing or whatever. He said, I didn't have nothing to say. I was saying what God told me to say, and he told me just to leave it alone. I was like, okay. And it just made me feel away when the wife was like, oh, Bishop, pray for him and do this and do that. It was almost as if it made me feel as if she was dependent on the bishop to, pray to God to have her son be okay and take away this affliction. And as if the bishop's prayer is much more powerful than hers. And I'm like, he's a human being just like you, and his prayer is not going to get there to God's ears any slower or quicker than yours, okay? Literally, y'all on the same playing field. So, I know it's a religious thing, but he's just a man. He's just a man, okay? He's just a man. But in the car, that's when he started talking to Grace, and he was basically telling her about some stuff that was going on with Jacob. And he was like, now Jacob ain't in the thing no more. I'm going to need you to step up because shit is kind of rough, okay? She was like, okay, I'm going to see if I can do that. And then let's get on Jacob shit. Because Carissa is a bitch out of this world. I understand you're upset, but the way that she did this, it pissed me off. Charity and Kevin, they went to the doctor, did an ultrasound, kind of find out they're having twins. Charity was like, oh my God, having twins. Kevin was like, yeah, baby, we're having twins. Damn. Shit. That was Kevin's reaction. I was like, So, Jacob and Carissa, their storyline. Carissa, she's the head mistress of the Excellence Academy that her daughter goes to, and Sophia. And also Isabel, who is Noah's fiance, she's one of the teachers there. They're having this meeting, and she's going off about the fact that the scores, how is the school called Excellence, and the scores, we're scoring so fucking low. What is going on? I don't care if you have to give them prep tests each and every day, but you're going to do it, okay? Because we need to get these scores up. And I was like, she basically just in her feelings, and I understand. And she's, like I said, she's all about image. She's all about image, and that's even in her job, in her marriage, and everything. She wants to be looked at as if she got it all together, as the best, and all this stuff. And we clearly see that. And the way she was talking to her daughter when she was like, you're not doing good in this, and she was like, I'm doing okay. She was like, you want to be just okay? You need to be great. You don't want to be like your father. I didn't agree with her saying that. I said, you didn't have to throw him under the bus to his own child like that. Make him seem like he's insignificant to his own daughter. That pissed me off. I hate when parents are going at it and they involve the child in it. Okay, that she didn't have to do that. All right, and then they go to therapy, and they're arguing over the fact that he wants to go to this bachelor party for one of his friends in Vegas or whatever. She doesn't trust him because of all the cheating that he's been doing. And basically they come to this compromise saying that if he give up talking to Alexa, which is his mistress, the white girl, that he can go. Okay, fine. Next thing you know, she gets this text. And I guess it was a bad text, okay? And she was just over it. She was looking at it like, ain't this about a bitch? Okay, this dirty dirt mother. And I'm just sitting here like, the way Carissa acts and the way she goes so hard, I can honestly say, and I hate trying to, say this excuse, but in this situation, I can honestly see why he was cheating on her. If you get where I'm coming from. And so therefore, everybody's sitting down having dinner, okay, and Charity was like, oh my God, you guys, I have an announcement to make. They was like, is everything going okay? Yes, everything is going okay. And it's such a big announcement. Kevin, you want to say it? He was like, okay, y'all, this is what's going on. Then all of a sudden, before he can even get it out the mouth that they having twins, Carissa bams on the table. I said, who the hell? Mind you, the camera, whoever was directing, they made us confused because they was confused too because they turning the camera this way and that way before they put it on Carissa. I was like, who the fuck did that? We all looking and did the camera final settle on Carissa. And Carissa was like, Jake, I am tired of this. Jacob is cheating on me with all these hoes and stuff. And it was like, what? He was like, what are you talking about? It was like, you said that you was going to leave this bitch alone and you texted her. You're still fucking with her. It was like, what are you talking about? You texted her by mistake. You texted my phone by mistake. I mean, everybody, you can see it if you want to and threw the phone on the table. I'm sitting here like, I didn't appreciate that. I know at certain times, you just explode. But it just felt like attention seeking. And she could have did that after they gave their announcement. And they was like, I'm sorry, but what was you gonna say? She gonna say, when he was like, we're having twins. I said, you know what? Carissa, go somewhere with that mess. Go somewhere with that mess. Bitch, Bishop was over it. He didn't say nothing at that table. He waited till the next day and he called Jacob up in his office and he was like, Lexa wasn't outside. She was like, Bishop said, you know what? She's not. I fired her. Jacob looked like his whole soul got crushed. You fired her. Yeah. I mean, how was your rest of your night? I mean, after the shit that went on at the dinner table, how was it? It was like, you know what, Dad, what's going on? See, you messed with me, right? He was like, you know what? No. Let me tell you something. I'm putting you on suspension. He said, for how long? 90 days. He said, who gonna teach Bible study? He was like, I can get anybody off the street, any Christian out the congregation to come from high school to come teach it. I said, wow. He said, who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? He literally put his son down and basically said, you ain't shit. You ain't up there. And you basically got the position that you got because Grace left. Okay? Because he was like, so let me tell you something. So you doing all of this. What did mama say? Because I know mama didn't agree to this. Because you only doing this because Gigi back. That's why you doing this, huh? He was like, you trying to let her take my place? He was like, your place? He was like, yeah, my place. He said, baby, let me tell you something. I love you, son, but you have no place. I said, ooh. His whole feeling, his soul was hurt. You know, he had to go home and say, you know what, babe, Carissa, let me tell you something. Because she was like, so you're not going to talk to me? He was like, yeah, I'm going to talk to you. But you know what you said about Gigi coming in and taking my place? All the time, want to take your place. Them backstabbers. You was right. You was right. And I said, oh, Lord, now some stuff finna happen because of that. And so we get this thing with Connie. Connie was the head deaconess. the deacon board, the chairwoman of the deacon board. She was the one that got up and said, I'm not here for the pastor doing this stuff with the bishop bringing the cops in and being on the cop side and forgetting all about Kenny Collins and all this stuff. And she left. um Lynn Whitfield, Lady Mae, she goes out there trying to talk to her at her house, and she was like, you're gonna have to do what you gotta do. If he not gonna come out here and talk to me, then I'm gonna be gone. You can find somebody else to take my position, because I will only talk to him. He's the one that owes me the apology and the decency to come and talk to me. She was like, but you've been with us, and you know the struggle, how we went from the storefront congregation to this big congregation now, and all this stuff. She was like, that's cool and all, but like I said, if Bishop can't get off his high horse and come talk to me, so be it. It is what it is. You can go find somebody else. Mind you, the bishop is sitting there trying to find and get this new jet. I'm sitting here like, y'all just go keep on. Every time they talk about this jet, I keep talking. Cleflo Dollar keep coming up in my head every single time, this whole situation, because his jet broke down and he needed some money from his congregation. He said at least $200 from each parishioner come up in there and donate this money so he can get a new jet so they can go over there and do mission work in Africa. And what they wind up doing, Lady Mae was on the phone talking. This dude Fred, one of the couples that the couple that Jacob and Carissa was having dinner with earlier, in like 2 episodes ago or last week. I think it was 2 episodes ago, whichever one. He came in and was like, he the new chairman of the deacon board, and it was like, he about to buy this jet to do so we can do some mission work in Africa. I said, Lord, if y'all ain't taking from the headlines for real, all this shade, I don't know if they try to do it on purpose, but bitch, I'm catching up on it and I'm peeping it at shade, okay? But he was like, you still gonna buy a jet when y'all being audited? Like, that don't seem right. And next thing you know, at the end of the episode, come to find out, since he's the new chairman of the deacon board, he calls this immediate meeting. And this about the jet and the auditing and all this stuff. And, the bishop, he figures it out and was like, so you did all of this so that I can fire him and go ahead and get Connie back? That's what you want? Okay, I'll call your bluff, baby. I'm going to go talk to her. He went and talked to Connie. Okay, they had a little kiki, come to an understanding. She said, I will come back if you do this plaque or something. And it was like, oh, you want your name on there? It say Connie this and Connie that. She was like, no. Say 1999 to 2016, Kenny Collins, Unforgotten. I said, oops, you better put your power in play, girl. Okay, and that's exactly what he did. He said, good. And was like, well, you got it. And he came, she was like, good, I'm back. I said, what? This episode was cute. It was something cute. I can't wait till they really dig into the Mac situation with Keith, who is playing the bishop, and Lady Mae, because I need to know exactly what it is that they know. Because in their car ride, well, when they was outside the hospital, Grace had told was asking about Mac to her daddy. And her daddy said, do you really think if I believed what was going on and knew that Mac actually did something to Faith, that he would still be here? Because once you said what you said, me and your mother went and talked to Faith, but she denied everything. All right? But what I should have did was took it to the police. And maybe if I took it to the police then, regardless of if he did it or not, everything would have been out there in the open and maybe Faith would still be here. I said, ooh, hindsight 2020, huh? And so after that, Lady Mae was also talking about shit because, she was talking to Connie about Gigi coming back and just stirring up shit. And she just don't want it. And I'm like, all y'all secrets are coming out, okay? And Grace is going to be there pulling it like, pluck this one out, pluck this one out. No. You can't get away with this. But Greenleaf was good tonight. You guys tell me how you think about it, and I will see you guys. Child, I'll probably see you guys Monday, okay? I didn't put up so many videos. Do I got something to do tomorrow? Nope, because I put it up early. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. All right? Peace, y'all. Be good.